Okay, I'll call this meeting of the Charter Revision Commission meeting to order. You take roll, please.
Commission members Paulides,
Here.
Timian, Annenson, Gregerson,
Here.
Knutson.
Here.
Okay. Okay, first on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from September 12th, 2013.
Chairman, I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes from our meeting on September 12th, 2013. Knutson.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, old business. Okay. What process do you suggest we go by, Dave?
I'll just go in order, Madam Chair, on 3A, if you're ready.
Okay.
As you may recall, the last time we had a list of potential items to look at, and the Commission had narrowed those down to 2 items, being the exact terms of office in terms of the length of the term and the exact date that the terms would start for City Council members and for the Mayor. And we've attached a SIRE, and they're also available over on the table for any of the public attending here. For Section 2.02, Part C, that regards the date, meaning the day of the week and the month of when a City Council member's term would begin. And the highlighting section in yellow is reflected on SIRE would reflect kind of the change that would be proposed. And you had directed that I put some language before you. I'll just read it off for ease of the viewing public. The terms of council members shall be 4 years, and that's unchanged. The part that's changed is beginning on whichever day the City Council regularly meets for the 3rd week of May, following the official canvass of any final council or mayoral election. And I won't read the rest, but what this states now is it starts on that 3rd Monday of the month, and that was coinciding with the fact that the council used to always meet on Monday nights, and now by ordinance they set it to Tuesday nights. Nowhere else in the charter are they required to meet on a particular night. In fact, the charter specifically states that they can, the council can set their own dates of when they want to meet, other than they have to meet once a month, no matter what. And so I just drafted this, and certainly open to suggestion. But just in terms of keeping it that 3rd week, it works well. I've talked with the city clerk about it in terms of the official canvass. It should be done. Votes are done, but in this way, it provides the council a little bit of flexibility on which day of the week they'd be meeting that 3rd week. So that would be the day of the swearing in. Otherwise, we would wind up always having to call a special meeting to swear in people if, say, the council was meeting on a Tuesday, and we'd have to swear them in on a Monday. It's just better, and it flows easier, and it's easier for everyone if we just say, you get sworn in, and you have your first meeting the same day. So,
Madam Chair,
Yes?
may I ask the city attorney a question? Is that just regarding the wording, I probably have been an English teacher too long, even though I haven't been an English teacher for a long time. But I was just wondering, and I maybe just need to read this to myself a little bit more, so not trying to be too crazy here. But I was wondering if we really need the word "for" there, beginning on whichever day the city council regularly meets, during the 3rd week of May or the 3rd week of May. The word "for" there seems awkward to me, and maybe I just am not reading
You're
it.
an English major.
I think so. You can tell that, can't you? It just sounded a little awkward to me, and maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I need to. It's just a thought.
I don't think that would change the meaning at all.
Oh, definitely. I don't think it would change the meaning at all, because I'm sure not trying to change the meaning at all.
I think
Meaning at all. Whichever day this goes back to me.
What, Madam Chair?
During the 3rd week.
Pardon?
What would it make more sense to regularly meets in or instead of 4 and in the third week? Is that what you're going for, isn't it? Whatever they,
Did you say during also, maybe, Dick?
well, it
or-
says beginning on whatever day the city council regularly meets in the third week of May. Or would that change the meaning?
I don't think so.
Huh?
In would work, I would think. What do you?
Would that be better?
Yes, I think during or in is either one of those is preferable and just less awkward. And again, not a big deal, but just trying to make it as readable as possible for our voters.
We're trying to justify our pay.
Well, maybe that's true too.
I like in. Do we need to do a,
Well, if I can, as you folks know, we agreed there'd be a supermajority vote required in order to place something on the ballot. And we have a quorum tonight, or this afternoon, but we don't have a supermajority to place anything on the ballot. So all we're really doing tonight is keeping it open for discussion, keeping it moving along. The three of you could not vote to put it on the ballot yet. So,
Madam Chair?
yes?
And again, I don't know how many more meetings we're going to have before the election on April 8th, but I was wondering, like, for something like this, which is frankly a fairly minor change as far as in instead of 4, is that, I mean, do we have access to any of the other members by telephone, or is that not necessary at this point?
what I could do is I could just put it in brackets a couple different ways so you can see it in print for the next time, and maybe put it in, the word in brackets, and see if that's a wording that you prefer, and then we can vote on it the next time. And we'll be sure and send a draft to the other 2 members, give them plenty of time to weigh in on it too, before, and review it before the next meeting, which would probably be January.
That sound okay?
Oh, thank you. Tamara's just helped me. I think it'd be January 9th, 2014 would probably be your next meeting.
Madam Chair, I know we're not to that point yet, but still on this issue, just want to say that for supermajority reasons, and I guess we pick up a couple more, we'll be okay. I am not in South Dakota on January 9th, for your information.
Could you appear telephonically?
Sure,
Okay.
most definitely.
Okay.
Madam
Dick?
Chairperson. On the 2-year, it says for 2 terms or more than 2 full or partial terms. Let's assume you have the mayor that has to leave for whatever reason, would die or whatever reason. In the last month, say, of his term, so you got to get a new mayor. That means that really that mayor coming in would only be able to serve 1 term plus 1 month. Could we, is there any thought that goes into say, well, it's partial term of more than a month or whatever figure?
I know this, if I may, I know this was addressed a while ago. Let me see exactly when that was done.
Because there's a timeline, isn't there, in the case of a vacancy?
Yes. But the full or partial terms, that was amended. I just can't remember exactly when. I could look, okay, it was back in April of 2000, it was amended. Well, the partial terms language was not touched in 2000.
this go back to the original where the partial term was 2 years? First election, there were some elected for a full term and some for 2 terms, or for 2 years. I'm wondering if this wording goes back to that.
It's in the original proposed charter. So let me look at the model charter and see what that has to say. I thought seems to me I recall reading something in some minutes somewhere where they had talked about this, Dick, years ago.
Oh, well,
And I could bring that up at your next meeting, but yeah, it's not handy right now.
there's language as far as in our state offices as regarding when you have to have an election, like for instance, a Senate candidate or whatever. If the election is coming within, well, if the next general election is coming within a certain period of time, then you don't have to call a special election. And that, I know that's different, but in a way it's the same context as far as, I would be afraid if something happened and there was a month or two left and you got a real good guy who would like to be mayor, but he might say, I'm not going to jump in at this point. I can only serve one term, you know, realistically.
Madam Chair, having a little fun with my colleague here. He keeps talking about him, and I think he means her also. I'm just having a little fun today with him. But also, but on a serious note regarding,
Plead guilty.
okay, thank you. I once in a while make a mistake too, Mr. Gregerson, but not very often. But on a serious note now, is that so if a person, you know, there was an emergency and the sitting mayor had to leave office a bit early, the person who, I'm saying, is it possible that someone would be appointed for that short a while, or does that person, he or she, would they have to be elected? Because I was thinking if they were just appointed to fill out that term, then they could still have 2 full terms.
I'd have to look a little further, Dee. I couldn't
Sure.
give you an answer off
Yes,
the top
no,
of
that's
my
fine.
head.
I'm just thinking out loud, for today.
Councillor Karski, was he appointed first?
Oh,
He was chosen by the council when Bob Litz was elected
And then he
county
ran.
auditor, and then he ran for re-election.
Madam Chair, on that topic, and again, I'm just thinking, and not, and I'm very fine with more information in January, but I was thinking that if a mayor had to leave office early, that the director of public works was first in the succession plan until the next election. I think there's some kind of an order like that is set, and maybe I'm not remembering that correctly, but it seems like it was something like that as far as succession in an emergency.
It's Section 206, it talks about vacancies. Part D talks about filling of vacancies in terms of if it's, 60 days before an election or longer, and then the council basically selects. And that's what they did with Councilor Karski, so.
Yeah.
Public input. Any public input on this?
Pardon?
Ask if there's any
Is there any public input? can address this next time also?
Sure. Well, taking your direction, I think I'll put the word in the language, and then we'll have the whole body look at it the next time, and then we'll see if we have the supermajority for the next time around in January 9th.
Okay, and then part B, or B.
This is also on SIRE. Also, hard copies are available at the table as you walk in the room today. The highlighted portion in yellow reflects the change. And again, we have essentially the, oops, I have two copies of the same thing. Pardon me. There we go. Somehow I got two of the same. There we go. Thank you, Tamara. 302 would be Amendment B, so to speak, election and qualifications of the mayor. This language was slightly different, but the meaning is the same in terms of when the mayor's office begins. It, again, was currently worded to be Monday during that third week. The change would be as follows. The mayor's term shall, and then here's the change, begin on whichever day the council regularly meets in the third week. That's getting the in there, of May following the official canvass of the mayor's election, and shall continue until the, so on and so forth. So again, that's just mirroring the other language, allowing that flexibility for the same reasons, so that the day can begin on whichever the council meeting day is that third week of May. And in case anyone doesn't know, the council always meets the first 3 weeks of every month, and then other special meetings as they may need to call. But the first 3 weeks we always have a meeting, and right now they are still on Tuesdays by ordinance. So.
Any comments, questions? And the partial, I'm assuming, will apply to this amendment also?
Yeah, that has full or partial terms language in there too.
Any public comment? Okay. New business. Is there any new business?
I'd like to ask just for my own information. How many council seats are up this next election?
4, is it?
There's always 4.
5?
4?
Yeah, thank you.
Where are they? How about at large, or I assume some are at large?
Central,
2 are at large,
southeast,
and then 2 are what district?
2 at large?
At-large A, at-large B, Southwest District, and Central District.
For southeast district?
Southeast,
Yeah, southeast,
Southeast, Ms. Aguilar's position. Thank you.
Will our vote have to be on January 9th?
Unless you want to.
To make it official on the ballot?
Well, we have till about the beginning of February, but I think based on the relative narrow focus of the amendments, I would think we could hammer out a final version and,
Sure.
and present it as a ballot by January 9th. And then I can also submit a draft report for you to consider and approve for that January 9th meeting that would
Okay.
summarize what you've done the past year or so.
And what is the deadline for the report? Is that set? That
I don't think
February?
we have an exact deadline for that one. We just, to make the ballot, I think by charter, we have to be like 60 days before.
Okay.
So.
Madam Chair,
See?
and then so that report you're talking about is just when you as the chair go before the city council to report on our activities? Is that what that means?
Yeah, and it's just, well, and officially, it's presenting it to the city clerk, right?
Right.
Okay.
Just a written report.
I'd kind of forgotten how we did that. Okay.
Okay, any other business?
I move to adjourn. Knutson.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion, meeting adjourned.